Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Going On Daily Live. I'm your host, Becky, here with Mr. Chuck Allen.
Good morning, everybody.
Chuck Allen is all amped up on energy drinks and coffee and testosterone. So he's ready to go. And I only say testosterone from your workout. It's like natural. You're not like juicing or anything.
It's alleged.
Alleged. I mean, it's supposed to be really good for you to exercise. So
I definitely got some exercise in this morning. I'm feeling good. Happy to be here on Labor Day here in America. I decided to get up and actually do a little bit of work today. So
do some physical manual labor in your body department. So that's awesome. You should tell everybody about your big plan. This is wild.
Okay, so yes, we were just talking. And before we start the episode, I do want to mention that today is a special day because the landscapers that are outside normally doing their right outside my door, I think they got the day off. Nope, I hear them. Disregard. They started at 9 a.m. But September 1st, ladies and gentlemen, it's Labor Day. I made a lofty goal yesterday afternoon. For some reason, I just was sitting here and I thought, what do I want to do next month that's going to enhance my life and make me better? And I came up with an idea. I am going to attempt to do 200 miles of running/walking to cover the month of September, which is 6.67 miles a day for the entire 30 days. If I miss a day, I've got to do 13.25, which is basically a half marathon a day.
Oh,
so my motivation is not to miss, but here's what I'm going to do, Becky. I'm going to do 4 in the morning, and then I'm going to do 4 in the evening, and I'm actually going to exceed the 200 by like a huge margin. So this is my accountability post. It is here live to the millions of viewers. If I don't do 200, we're going to have to do something about it at the end of the month, but I will be back 30 days from today, and I will show the results on my phone or my watch or wherever I have it.
That's for sure. You'll be like sucked in.
It's going to be awesome. I weighed 206 pounds 2 years ago. I clocked in at 246 this morning, and I have been doing muscle training, so I expected to get heavier, but it's time to slim back down and be the muscle-bound idiot that I was born to be. And that's my goal for September. So there you have it.
Obviously, September is a warm month for you in Texas.
It is. It's better than it was in August, which is much better than July. So I probably should have done this in October or November, but that would be weak. I want to test myself a little bit. And one thing I'm always proud of is when I accomplish that goal at the end of the month, it's like, hey, you know what? That was straight discipline. So discipline for the win, folks.
I'm thinking like maybe I should do something like that. But I mean, September, I could probably get it done in September. October, November, we got snow for sure by November. Sometime.
Exactly. This is like probably the prime time. I should be in Canada right now. Everything would be a little bit better. I'd be able to breathe easier. Probably wouldn't sweat as much. But
today's a warm one. But
San Antonio and all the roads here and places I go are like this. So it's going to be like climbing Mount Everest as well.
Oh yeah, Canada where I am is pretty flat, so you can walk for some time in the prairies. You can just go.
I did 200 miles last 2 years ago, last month, and it was in Naples, Florida, which is much more humid than San Antonio, and I made it. So I feel like that's just a good measuring stick that if I don't make it now, I'm not as good as I once was. And ladies and gents, I believe that I am better than I once was. So
yeah,
no excuses on this side.
I'm excited to touch base October 1st with you.
It's going to be awesome.
Now, where can the people find you if they want to follow along with your journey, your podcast, whatever?
Well, that's a terrific question, and I am all over the internet, ladies and gents. I tell my homeowners for my roofing company, just hit Chuck Allen Roofing on Google, and you'll see me everywhere. Okay. But Facebook, Chuck Allen, you see this beautiful face there. It won't let me change my profile pic. It's from a couple years ago because I got the blue check mark, so people wouldn't hack.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, which I think is called Chuck Allen 9, TikTok, LinkedIn. I probably have like a MySpace that I don't even realize at this point, but those are my primaries: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Chuck Allen 210, as you see here on the screen. And if you can't find me through any of those channels, your internet's probably broken. So there you go.
I found you on TikTok, Chuck Allen 64. So you're just like, hey, take a random number, put it down.
63 other Chuck Allens in the world, but I'm the one in my mind. So,
and apparently 209 Chuck Allens on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, this is actually because I live in San Antonio and we're 210 representing 210 over here. That is our area code.
I thought maybe it was like your goal weight, 210.
I've been there before. I got down to 199 a few years ago, and I looked like I was probably about ready to kick the bucket, but it was a goal that I made. I think 210 would be awesome. And you know what? We've just set a new goal, ladies and gentlemen. By the end of the year, I will weigh in at 210 pounds, and I will document that, and you'll see the changes as we go. Even though you only see me from the neck up right now, you'll recognize it in my fat little face. I will soon look like a fish. There you go.
Well, I'm excited for you. I can't wait to keep up. What a great way to start the morning, but let me change that because I got another let me ruin your morning story.
Well, the cool thing is we're starting off by ruining your day rather than ending the show like we did last week with it. And I'm still not over last week's story of the grown man with the 13-year-old wife.
Nine.
They were 13 when she had kids. I remember now.
15.
Okay, well,
but I was telling
either way, I was kind of scarred, and the numbers are not important. What's really important is pretty messed up stuff, and it did ruin my entire day. So let's start off ruining the day, and then we're gonna bring it back.
Ron, I love the graphics. Those
graphics are amazing.
I was telling my kids about that story from last week, and I was saying, like, back then in the 30s, because there wasn't like the hormones in food, the water, all the things, like that girl probably didn't even become an age where she could have babies until 15. So it probably happened like immediately, meaning they were probably practicing up until that point, which is absolutely freaking disgusting. So sorry. Let me really ruin your morning with a double whammy here.
I know, practicing. That's kind of a messed up way of putting it, honestly.
I know, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to this lady. I mean, they're probably both long gone at this point.
Hopefully the guy is. Maybe she's still around. She'd be like the oldest woman on earth right now. Maybe she got out of that, and her and her 110-year-old children are still roaming around doing their thing.
Yeah, gross. Okay, so this is another story, which will prove that the world is sick. People are gross. So there is an English funeral director, let's say. Funeral director, I take, that's light.
Director. Someone that messes with dead bodies.
Yeah, she is under fire following. Yeah, she. I know. When do you ever see a female funeral director? Again, quote unquote funeral director. She's under fire after revelations have come out that she actually keeps the bodies of deceased babies at her home. Her personal house where she lives. Including an instance where a grieving mother found her son's remains when she went there. Okay, so the lady's name is Amy Upton. She's 38. Okay, my age.
Okay, I was figuring she's going to be much older than that.
Oh, she is.
The story's got all kinds of twists.
I'm just thinking at like what would have possibly happened in my life in 38 short years to like make
inspire you to keep dead babies.
Totally. So she runs a support service, funeral service called Florey's Army. It's a baby loss support center. It was founded by this woman, Amy, after her own daughter was a stillborn in 2017. Now, the reason that she had lost the baby is because it sounds like there was abuse from her partner, and then she lost her baby. That baby was going to be named Flory or Florence or whatever. She's now facing multiple complaints from bereaved parents who claim their children's bodies were stored in unsuitable conditions at her home.
You don't say. What are suitable conditions for storing dead babies? I would
imagine like in the cold morgue, first of all, not in your personal home. So I had to think about like what is like, she's not a funeral director per se. She doesn't run a funeral home or anything like that. Her service is like, you know, free handprints, photographs, and then helping assist in funeral arrangements for families experience infant loss. So in that time, I would imagine that grieving parents it's almost like a wedding planner, as messed up as that is to say. It's like a funeral planner, basically. She'll help make the arrangements for you to get the things that you're going to maybe not think about because you're grieving your baby, right? So one mother, a 32-year-old named Zoe Ward, has recounted her horror after entrusting that her 3-week-old son named Blue, he died of brain damage. They entrusted this Amy to take care of it. Expecting a professional setting, Ward then visited Amy's home the following day to discover that baby Blue was in the living room baby bouncer watching cartoons playing on the TV. So upright in a, oh my God, I can
just chilling in a chair.
Yes. So the mom came in. I guess this woman says, come to my home. This is where we have all the things, whatever. She says she realized it was her son Blue. And when Amy said, come in, we're watching PJ Masks. That's a TV show, I guess. There's a cat scratcher in the corner. I can hear a dog barking. And there was another deceased baby on the sofa, says this horrified mom.
Wow.
Okay, I know, right? Another couple identified anonymously. They wanted to protect their privacy, obviously, through this time, shared a similar ordeal that they had after their daughter was a stillborn. Now, they believe that this body was being kept at another funeral home. Sharon says, watching cartoons. Does this woman think these children are? I have no idea. Obviously, when she lost her own baby due to trauma and abuse,
part of her mind went with it.
It turned a switch, right? This is like an episode for Criminal Minds, 100%. Yes. So like I said, they believe that this baby was being cared for at a different funeral home, but later that it had been moved to Amy's home without their consent. That's twisted, right? To find out.
I'd definitely be looking into that.
Mm-hmm. So the anonymous mom described the body as really smelly, like she'd been in there and not kept cool.
You don't say.
The parents then collected their daughter and transferred her to a different director. The anonymous mother called the situation crazy, likening it to a horror film. Yeah, it is a horror film for sure. But here's where it gets like very confusing. Like I'm offended, you're offended. Ron and
Here's
Sharon
where it gets confusing. Okay. All right. We haven't gone to that point yet.
Like it's confusing for us North Americans, let's say. None of this is actually considered a crime, at least not in England. Now, maybe in North America it would be, but in England, where this took place, this is not a crime at all. So the West Yorkshire police investigated 2 reports since 2021, but actually found no criminal offenses after extensive inquiries. The police have said that we recognize the concern raised by these families will have added to the distress they felt during an already incredibly difficult time. What? How is this not a crime?
This certainly appears like something is wrong with the legal system across the pond. Yeah. I actually had a guest on my podcast that tried to kill his wife one time, and he wasn't charged either. It ended up that it wasn't a crime. So
he came on to talk about it. What is he, O.J. Simpson?
No, he's actually a world-renowned psychiatrist who has done some amazing things, but he was under the influence of alcohol heavily, and he stabbed his children's mother multiple times.
Oh my word.
Because she took his liquor away, and he fled the country. And then I learned that in England, you can attempt to murder someone, and as long as they don't report it to the cops, it's totally cool.
Good to know. So as long as they don't actively die.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
No worries. It was a mistake.
Listen, if
the beer made me do it.
The beer made me do it. Ugh, what a perfect alibi. Or MO. I don't know. Whatever
it is. It was strange.
Yeah, it is strange. So yeah, apparently, like for whatever reason, the regulation in England's funeral industry, like there's no qualifications or specific standards that are legally required. So I feel like the standards are once the baby passes and the parents have had their time with it, it needs to be disposed of properly. Like Sharon saying, isn't there a law against abusing dead bodies? Like, I guess I don't know if they would consider it abuse because she wasn't mean to it. Like she was letting
She
it
was
watch.
watching cartoons with the baby. I mean, had her in a chair and everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Interpretation can be a real, you know what?
Yeah. So now I did more digging. I looked onto different websites about her. So it does sound like other parents were aware of this situation. They knew that she brought the baby back to her home. She used something called a cold cot, which is like a bassinet that has like a cooling pad or something in it to keep the baby at a temperature where it's not going to start to decompose. Um, so she uses this cold cot for preservation, lends it to families, or has them come to her house and use it. And apparently, this is to give them more time with their baby. People apparently knew about this because I guess there's, she's got a Facebook page and people are commenting on it in like a positive way. Or like there's a picture of the bassinet and it's saying like, oh, the baby is having blah, blah, blah. But the way that she talks about it, like in this one post, it was like, this baby can have whatever she wants. Like, okay. Like, I don't know. It's so bizarre. It just basically said that there's a lot of positive Facebook reviews praising her services as amazing and inspirational. So anyways, maternity wards have and mortuaries have banned Amy from now on.
I don't mean to laugh, but that is kind of a funny comment right there.
It's
disturbing to say the least.
Are you available parent that works too much? Try a new service. Florrie's dead babysitting services. Jeez, Roy.
It's Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to ruin your day. That is
ruin your day on a Monday. Ruin your week. So, like off the hop, I think it's pretty gross. It's pretty weird. It's a weird situation. That's not your baby. You obviously need counseling, Amy, because you need to deal with the loss of your own child. Okay. First off. Secondly, these are parents who are grieving so deeply. The last thing they need is to come in and see the baby watching cartoons and a baby bouncer. That's so messed up. Plus, like, no newborns even go in a baby bouncer. Like, it's not even like the right timeline. Anyway.
Right? Yeah. Come on now.
Come on, Amy.
This is so not right. I would like to answer a question, though, that Sharon mentioned here about a crime. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact here in the United States of America, it is a crime to abuse dead bodies. And I'll tell you how I know.
Oh, gosh.
About 3 years ago, I had a guest on my podcast who is a mortician and also a professional wrestler by trade, which I know is a unique little combination. He was called the $1 Million Mortician. And during the course of our conversation, I asked him a very basic question. Do you ever practice wrestling moves on someone's grandma or whatever when they're laying on the table? And he told me very clearly, absolutely not, because it is against the law to do that in America. So
I would hope so.
We are very refined. We're very good, kind-hearted people here. That would never fly in the United States. And I'm sure it would not fly in Canada either. So there you go. It's a crime in Canada as well. It's been confirmed.
So. I mean, it makes sense. So my husband and I were watching Love is Blind. I make him watch these stupid shows. And he's a good sport about it. But one of the contestants is a mortician. And the first night that him and this girl get together, they hook up. And my husband goes, he must love having a warm body for once.
Yeah, there were many things that I asked that I will not go into on this episode today when I had the mortician on the show, but it was 100% confirmed that you cannot perform wrestling moves on dead bodies. So
perfect. No,
if you send your grandma to the mortician, you have nothing to worry about. She's not going to get put in the figure 4 leg lock or anything like that. Mm-hmm. She will be as you remember her.
She might be taken to somebody's home though and set up in the chair.
Exactly.
Maybe. It's hard to say. So yeah, needless to say, she is banned from maternity wards and mortuaries from here on out. In Leeds, at least, doesn't mean other parts of England are off limits.
She can just go down the street to the next town over and perform her miracles. And well, there you go.
So anyways, sorry to ruin your morning, everybody. Another Becky instant classic. Yeah, I know. I saw it and I was like, I have to. share this with poor Chuck, who,
I feel like it's good. I really enjoy this Let Me Ruin Your Day segment that we've now developed into a weekly thing. And I think it should be something that we do every week on Mondays. We should start off the week with something horrific and terrible to make us feel better about our own lives and about the world that we live in, because I do not know anybody that's doing that kind of stuff. And I'm very thankful. So not only did it ruin my day, it also helped inspire me and become more grateful for what I do have.
See, I'm a inspiration.
Indeed.
Ron, put me on Mondays every week with Chuck.
This is our weekly deal. And now I know why it's called Blue Morning and Blue Day, because the poor child's name was Blue.
I wonder if you looked. He didn't even know. What a coincidence.
Super coincidence.
Super.
Probably not even why, but that's a tribute to you, Blue, as Will Ferrell in the all-time classic said, "You're my boy, Blue." That's so.
Right. All right. Well, let's transition out here. First, before we get into your topic, let's talk social media. And everywhere else that you can find us. So we are on a million different platforms, streaming right now live, 8 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Central. We are on Kick, YouTube, and Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting, or we are on Twitch at RI_broadcasting. And Twitch, you can actually support the show with bits for a penny. So feel free to do that for us.
Splurge today. Give us 100 bits.
Give us 100 pennies. That's nothing. You can also listen to us after the fact on a bunch of different platforms. We got Spotify, Red Circle, TuneIn, iHeartRadio at RIBroadcasting. I heard Ron say yesterday that you can actually donate on Red Circle. I've never been. I use Spotify fairly consistently to listen.
I'm a TuneIn guy myself.
Are you now?
Indeed.
Oh, good to know. I don't even know if my own podcast is on any of these. Spotify for sure. I don't know about anything else. I should probably figure that out. We are also on all the socials. So you can find us on U42, Odyssey, Parler, Gab, Space Hey, MeWe, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever this guy is. What is the
butterfly thing?
No, what is that one again? I always forget.
I have never heard of like half of these. So every week we do them, I'm like, I need to check out U42 and MeWe and Gab.
And Kyle always tells us to check out Noster. Oh yeah, Blue Sky.
It's called Blue Sky, folks. Check us out on Blue Sky today. Uh-oh.
That's where you have some swag, support the show. Yeah, follow us there for sure. And also on X/Twitter, whatever the name is, Broadcasting RI. Apparently, we are close to being able to, maybe Ron said we might be able to go live there if we pay for premium or whatever. I don't know. But that'd be cool to have another place to go live. Of course, we want to go live on Facebook again. So we definitely need people to go ahead and follow us over there. You probably don't have MeWe. You probably don't have Blue Sky Space Hey, but you probably have Facebook. So go ahead, right under me, Going On Daily Morning Show. Follow us there. The more followers we have, the more likely it is that we are able to go live. So that is exciting. Over here, you can support the show at RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. Now, last week we had for the last couple of weeks, we had a Hall of Fame vote. So the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Beach Boys, Bob Dylan, and Aretha Franklin, the people have voted. The Beatles are the victor in this round. Rolling Stones, like not even close. Not even close. And I knew it would be like that. Of course, we have Chuck's vote here for Beach Boys. And
I'm
Bob
the
Dylan,
14%, folks.
Yeah, just you. Bob Dylan and Aretha Franklin got 0 votes. I personally voted for the Beatles, obviously. But we've got a new vote this week, maybe for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, this is a good one.
We're voting for movies here: Grease, Jaws, Rocky, The Godfather, or Saturday Night Fever. Now, I think my vote is going to go to Grease because I think it's the only one I've seen. I don't even really
You've never seen Rocky?
I don't think so.
Wow, Becky, this is insane.
I'm not a Sylvester Stallone fan.
Me neither, but Rocky is not Sylvester Stallone. He's Rocky Balboa. He is a inspiration to millions. To this day, anytime I watch any of the 6 or 7 Rocky movies, whenever Rocky starts getting beat up and then he starts that inspirational comeback, I just get so excited. Like that to me is, I'm voting for Rocky. There's no doubt. Rocky is probably the only one that I've actually seen on all of this. And I've seen all the Rockies. And this does beg the question to Ron, can it be Rocky 2, Rocky 3, or is it just the regular basic Rocky? Because honestly, the first one was probably the worst, other than maybe the 6th one where he was fighting Tommy Gunn out in the street. No, just Rocky. I still go Rocky.
I was thinking that I maybe have seen number one, but it's like not memorable to me, like at all. If I've
Wow.
seen it, I really don't know. So maybe that's why, because it's not the best
There
one. I
you
heard Ron
go.
talking about Rocky 3 yesterday, so maybe that's the one to watch. Now, I maybe think I've seen Jaws too, or at least bits and pieces of it. Perhaps that would be my vote. I don't know. I have to think about this.
For the record, Rocky 3 is the best one. There's
Is that okay?
no doubt.
Who is
He
he
fights
fighting?
Hulk Hogan in it. He fights Mr.
Oh,
T in it.
pretty awesome.
He gets beat. He comes back. He trains with Apollo. Like, it's pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It's very realistic too.
Maybe I'll watch it. It'd make my husband very happy if I watched Rocky with him. The Godfather, iconic. Yeah, and I've heard that, never seen it. Maybe I should also. And Saturday Night Fever, is that Mark Wahlberg?
No, it's John Travolta.
Oh, which one am I thinking?
Mark
It's like a newer
Wahlberg.
one. It's like a newer one, but he's like a porn star. That's not at all what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know.
What movie is that? Either way,
I
not
can honestly say I never watched it. Mark Wahlberg as a porn star would not be something I would rush to the local theater to see by any stretch. I would probably sit and watch Rocky 300 times before I watched that one.
Mark Wahlberg in his heyday, in his Calvin Klein days as a porn star, yeah, sign me up. I'd watch that. Unfortunately, I was a small child when that came out. So anyways, go over to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net and vote for the Hall of Fame. It's always such a mouthful, you know?
Indeed. That's what the Hall of Fame's all about.
That's exactly it. Let's talk about daily habits changing your life. What perfect timing with you going on 6.67 miles every day.
Yes, which we decided was 324, I think you said.
No,
kilometers.
80 something, I thought.
I mean, for the month, the 200 miles was like 320 some kilometers.
I thought it was higher than 320. Either way.
Whatever. I'm going kilometers, folks. I'm smashing through 200. I'm going for over 300. And what's it matter, really? So
you're right. Yeah. 321. My bad.
Boogie Nights. There you go.
Boogie Night. I mean, I was on the right path. Saturday Night Fever, Boogie Nights. I knew it was disco.
Same era.
You got me stuck at naked Mark Wahlberg.
Well, let's get out of there. Talk about things that are going to ruin your day.
That doesn't ruin my day. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I'm scarred now. So 7 votes already, folks. That's what I'm talking about. People are on this today. I believe that the voting just opened up. So out of our millions of viewers, 7 of you have already done your job. It's Labor Day in America. We only give you one piece of work to do today. Go to the site and vote for the Hall of Fame. Take Rocky.
Can't wait.
The Beatles got through. They deserved it. But this time I'm going with Rocky. And I encourage everybody to vote for Rocky.
Perfect.
Just because he's an underdog. He needs to win.
That's right.
So, yeah, we were talking a little bit about morning habits and how they can change your life, right? Yeah. So I was going through my Facebook, and I love to get up every morning. One of my morning habits, ironically, is that I get up and I start perusing through the Facebook. And one of the things I love to do is I love to go back in the memories every single morning and see what's happened to me that day throughout history. And mine goes back now 16 years, which is crazy. And it's like 16 years ago, I was moving to North Carolina and I was doing all this stuff. I start watching these things and I start seeing different trends. Number one, things that do become habit. And over the last 6 years, I've noticed that every day on this particular day, I've gone to the gym.
Okay.
Planet Fitness, Crunch Fitness. I even went to a random gym that I don't even really remember, but I was there because I clocked in on it. And it made me start to think, what are some of these habits and how have they changed the way that I've lived my life over the years, the way that I've seen things in the world and my perception of life in general? And I got to say this, 7 years ago, I was pretty damn fat, Becky. I was like ridiculously fat, like obese. And I started looking at some of the pictures. 6 years ago, we were doing a social media video for my roofing company. And I always remember this because I yelled at my cameraman every single time and said, dude, you always catch my bad angle. And then one day I realized they're all bad angles, Chuck. It's because you look horrific. And I started getting up every day from that point and doing my routine. I have done over 3,000 miles in the last 5 years. Last year alone was over 1,500. So I'm quite capable of doing the 200, but I started doing this and I started getting thinner and thinner and thinner, looking better and feeling better. More things terrific have happened to me because of these habits. And it kind of made me think about this, what's a typical morning look like for our viewing audience? Does anybody have a morning routine that they go through on a daily basis that is non-negotiable? Today, for example, is a holiday in America. I went to the gym at 4:00 this morning, as I always do. And guess what?
I'm sorry, did you say 4:00 in the morning?
Every time, because there's
4 in the morning.
There's only about 15 people there. And I can do my stuff and I can be all right. If I go at 9 in the morning, it's completely packed.
Who are the 15 other people at 4 in the morning?
That's a great question. So they're the ones that are dedicated. They're the ones that have the intestinal fortitude, if you will, to get up when they don't want to, because getting up at 4 in the morning sucks, especially on a holiday or a weekend. And this is something that I've made a non-negotiable thing for myself.
Morning?
Yes. Even on days I don't go to the gym, I get up at 4 in the morning and do something, because I just feel like that's my most productive time.
You're blowing my mind, Chuck.
I am completely ADD. So when I get around other people, I lose all effectiveness. So when I don't have people around, I can get a lot of stuff done. I do most of my work for the roofing company between 6 and 8 in the morning, and then I completely fall apart.
And then you got to go to work, like get up on a roof and.
Oh, absolutely. I was doing a roof repair yesterday on Sunday so that my client could get their new tenants in on the 1st, which is today. I had a day to do it, and we decided Sunday was the day, and we got it done. And I think that's why people rely on me for their roofing needs, because they know this dude's either crazy or extremely dedicated, and probably a combination of both. But 4 a.m., I get up, I go to the gym. I have a very specific routine that I do. Okay. I get up, I get dressed. I go to the Quick Trip, which is a convenience store right over here by my house.
Not Becky's.
I am on a first name basis with everybody in the Quick Trip at 4 in the morning because I'm a regular, and I bring the energy, I bring the heat. When they ask me how my morning's going, I'm like, it's awesome. How are you guys today?
Because if it's 4 a.m. and you're in there, I'd be like,
they're like, well, he's either finishing up from a crazy night of doing whatever, and that's why he's energetic, like some of the other folks, or this guy just naturally loves getting up at 4 in the morning and doing his thing. And I believe that to be the case. So
I think so.
I go into the Quick Trip. Here's how good I've got it, Becky. I go in, the dude that works there, they've got a little app on their phone, right? This guy every morning checks his app to see if there's a special on an energy drink for me. And if there is, he tells me about it. And 3 times he's actually used his own app to get me a free energy drink. So got to respect that, right? Yeah. And I do my routine. I've got a written out schedule that I do. 5 days of weight training. The other 2 days I do some sort of cardio, typically not at the gym, but I'll go to the park over here and I'll do my morning walk just so I get something in every day of the week. And then I come home, I eat a hearty breakfast, which is usually pretty healthy. And then I go out and I kick the day's butt every single day. I've been doing this for over 5 years. And I look at the progress that it's made for me over the course of time. And it's like, good for you, bro. You did good. So anybody that's watching this, if you don't have a morning routine, I think it's amazing to block off time blocks. I do 2-hour blocks for the entire day. And I try to get as much done in those first 3 time blocks as possible because the rest of the day is completely unpredictable. I went golfing twice last week. One day I didn't even know I was going golfing until like 30 minutes before we were there. And it was like, hey,
but you had the time to do it, which is awesome.
Had the ability because I have a roofing company that I own and nobody can fire me from it. So if I decide to slack off one day,
you're going to.
I got paid $20,000 while I was on the golf course. The guy paid his bill. So it's like, hey, what are you going to do? Argue with that?
No,
I can't argue with it.
Get some shots and celebrate.
There you go.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed early, like 9 p.m. every day. I get up at 3:15-ish, and then I'm ready to rock.
So you get up at 3? You're not getting up at 4 and going to the gym after?
I'm at the gym usually between 4 and 4:15. and then I do my thing. But like I said, today's a holiday, right? You expect people to sleep in, to take their day off, to do their thing. Every single one of the regulars that I see every day, except for one guy, Darren. I didn't see you at the gym today, bro. You're slacking. But everybody else was there. And it made me realize I'm doing something right, because I think maybe somebody would notice and call me out by name if I didn't show up. I'd hate to hear from them tomorrow. What's up? You took the day off, lazy. But every one of them was there except for Darren. And Darren, I know you're watching. You're a regular watcher of our show.
They look forward to seeing you probably. You would let them down. It's an accountability partner for you.
That's exactly right. And here's the kicker of this entire thing. The only reason I call out Darren is that's literally the only person I've ever spoken to at that time. And I see the same people every day for years on end. I've never spoken to any of them, and I don't know any of them by name, but there's an unspoken bond. If we were in a bank and I look over and I see, I've got many nicknames for some of these folks. Like, we'll say Skip. I call him Skip because he's always skipping leg day. This dude's like top heavy, like muscle, but you could, if we're going to go, I'm going to kick him in his leg and he's going to fall down because his legs are very weak looking. And I realize if I'm in a bank and we're getting robbed and I look over and I see Skip, there's that unspoken bond. And I would want someone that I see at the gym every morning as my ally in a situation like that. Right. So if you're not doing morning activities, if you don't have a daily habit that kicks off your day, you need to do that. And now I add going on daily to my Monday morning. Every single morning at 6 a.m., my phone reminds me so I don't forget, which I never would forget anyway, but it's cool to have that. So
amazing.
Well, shout out to morning habits. They can change your life.
You know what? I am the absolute opposite. I am morning sloth, where I'm like, don't get me out of bed. But I can't sleep either. That's the issue. It's not like I'm sleeping until noon. It's like I'm just such a blah in the morning. And tomorrow my kids go back to school, or one of them goes back to school tomorrow. And I'm dreading it because it means I have to be up. I have to be motivated. I have to make sure I don't make their lunches. Sometimes I do, but I got to make sure that they've made their lunches. And then, when they miss the bus, I got to drive them. And it's I'm dreading it. But I've got friends who get up well before their kids, 5 a.m. They have their coffee, they read their socials, they get their kids' stuff prepared. That way, when the kids wake up, it's not a stress. And I'm trying to remember, back when I had a real job, before I got sick, it every morning was a scramble, trying to get up, get my kids organized and get myself ready and on the road and into the city by 8 a.m. Kill me. That is horrible. And so, I definitely see that there is some advantages to getting up early and having your stuff prepared. Problem is I go to bed too late. Ron's saying he goes to bed at 1 and wakes up at 6. That's horrible for you, Ron.
Well, Ron was the guy a couple weeks ago when we talked about strange human conditions where you only had to get 4 hours of sleep. Yeah. And I believe we called him out then. So this is just a reinforcement of that fact that we've already covered as it pertains to our friend Ron. And we couldn't do this show without you, Ron. Trust me. Neither one of us is getting up and doing the graphics or doing any of that. I have the same graphics on my podcast every time for the last 4 years. So,
right. Do you know that every hour before midnight is worth 2 after? Wait, no, hold on. How is it now? Oh, sorry. I shouldn't swear on the show.
It's okay. I swear all the time.
So basically, if you go to bed at 1, it's after midnight. But if you went to bed at 11, that 11 to 12 is actually worth 2 hours of sleep.
There you go.
For you going to bed at 9, you're waking up at 3. So you're only getting 6 hours. But
I'm really getting 9. I'm actually more healthy than 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I'm winning all the way around, folks.
Who knew? Well, good for you. There you go. Daily habits can change your life. I'm going to start. It's September 1st. I've got 4 months until the end of the year. I want to be beach ready at some point in my life. And, I'm going to be 40 next year. So, maybe, just maybe I'm going to implement some daily habits starting today.
Okay, well, now we can't leave with this segment hanging like that. What's one daily habit you're going to bring into your life starting today? And since I'm going to be holding myself accountable for 30 days on my 200-mile walks, I will also say, Becky, on October 1st, we'll show us what you've accomplished. So what are you going to shoot for?
I also want to, I love walking. Now, again, we get months and months of winter where I am. So maybe, at least for September, I can commit to even just 1 kilometer a day. That's nothing. That's like to this kid's school and back. Like it's quick. So, yeah, I'm going to do that for 30 full days.
There you go. We are going to be fit. We're going to be like the buffest team on the internet now. So look out, world.
Look out, world. Here we come.
I love it.
I love it too. All right. So just no, I'm not good at transitions this morning, but we're going to talk about Ziploc. Here's a habit that you should get rid of: using plastic. Plastic is trash. Don't do it. So Ziploc is facing class action lawsuit over some concerns. Now, this is a few months old. This happened at the beginning of summer. But this lawsuit is questioning the microwave safe and freezer safe claims of Ziploc plastic bags. Now, you know how they say right on it.
Oh, the bags.
Yeah, you can put us in the freezer. You can put us in the microwave, whatever. You should never put plastic in the microwave, ever. Like, I don't care if it's a container or Ziploc. You should never. The lawsuit against SC Johnson alleges that these claims for Ziploc brand products are misleading and that these use of products in that way, heat and cold, increase the risk of exposure to microplastics. Now, according to these lawsuit documents, they affirmatively market its Ziploc bags and containers as microwave safe and suitable for freezer use, creating, the reasonable impression that
it's healthy,
that they are fit for use in a microwave or freezer. This is what gets me. So it says that they're marketed as microwave safe and suitable for freezer use, which tells me, oh, they're good for the microwave and the freezer, right? But in reality, these products are made from polyethylene and polypropylene, materials that scientific and medical evidence show releases microplastics when microwaved and frozen, making them unfit for the microwave and the freezer use.
Well, now, there's a lot to dig into here because honestly, I'm a little surprised there's a lawsuit. I always just assumed that it was common knowledge that you shouldn't do it, but you could.
Well, it's not.
It's like cigarettes. Like cigarettes are not healthy, but people go to the store and buy cigarettes on a regular basis. I know that putting plastic in the microwave is probably not the best idea.
But I think that people like cigarette companies no longer claim that it's healthy for you, right? And not that plastic or Ziploc is saying it's healthy for you, but it's saying it's safe to do so. But in actuality, it's not safe to do so. Like that's
I've always assumed the safety aspect was from explosions and things like that. Like, I guess I'm a simple-minded person, but maybe I actually was understanding the assignment from the beginning, and I never assumed that eating microplastics was a good thing.
Yeah, fair. I mean, but the amount of times a day that I have to tell even my husband and my kids, like, you're not microwaving that in a plastic bowl, switch to glass. And they're like, even my husband, 40-year-old man. I'm like, you know better. Put in glass. So even today, like I'm drinking out of this, a single-use plastic. A lot of people will reuse these over and over again.
Ooh, yeah. No.
Well, like, have you ever put warm water in one of these? You know what happens? It just shrivels up into nothing. Why? Because it's not meant for warmth.
It's molecularly geneticized to not be that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that's a real term, but I just made something up.
But I love it. So it says, relying on the defendant's false misrepresentations, individuals then have unwittingly exposed themselves to, and their family, like their kids, to undisclosed microplastics during just routine kitchen practices. So for me, I'd be mad. Like, granted, I do a lot of research on all the things. So like for me, I know, and clearly you know, but how many people don't know? Right? You're believing it because the advertising was good.
Again, I don't consider myself a genius by any stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And I never would have thought, hey, let's sue Ziploc because this is unhealthy. I just always assumed that people were smarter than that. And one thing I've learned throughout the course of my life is people are not as smart as I think they are.
No, they're not.
I think I've been blessed, and things like this make me really appreciate
and beauty, Chuck.
Yeah, right. I got the whole deal going on, and I didn't even realize it.
Right? The Lord shined down hhis favor upon you.
Thank you, sir.
When he was creating you. So apparently, exposing polyethylene and polypropylene to extreme temperatures, such as heat from a microwave. I mean, microwave radiation in general is like so bad for you. But the cold of a freezer actually causes the surface of these materials to start breaking down, shedding the microscopic pieces. Now, the lawsuit alleges that Ziploc has not addressed this occurrence on its packaging, yet its labels say that it's safe. So there should be somewhere, even in tiny little letters that no one's going to read, because who's ever read a Ziploc package that says, actually, if you put this in the microwave, you're going to get microplastics, which lead to all kinds of other junk. So I know somewhere in this article it talks about what happens when you have microplastics here. Oh, yes. They did studies earlier this year that found that microplastics were actually accumulating in mice brains, causing blood flow blockages. Another study found that microplastics accumulation occurs in human brains also, not just mice. Another study published in January linked the presence of microplastics in human placentas to premature birth, while another in early 2025 linked microplastic exposure to several respiratory, digestive, and reproductive risks. Wow. Yeah, Ron, I do remember you did this, but we're allowed to recycle. Not
yes,
plastic.
I didn't see that episode. I've learned something new today.
Now.
This is alarming to me. This is almost on par with the. Can you guys hear the?
Oh, no. The
there they
moans.
are. There they are. This is almost on par with the Tide Pods back in the day, where they had to actually go on the package and write, "Don't eat Tide Pods because they're not good for you." And
soap is so gross. Why does anybody
assumed
want to
that
eat
everyone knew not to eat Tide Pods until it became a huge thing, and now Ziploc. I had no idea, but I'm actually anti-Ziploc now too. I've been swayed by the story. I will not microwave my soup or anything in a Ziploc container ever again.
It also
I give you my word.
I didn't read this part of the article, but it did also say that there are other companies, going to be in trouble. Ones like Rubbermaid, for example, or I can't remember.
Rubbermaid's in big trouble.
Hercules, Armada, Ziploc branded bags. They're not all in this lawsuit, but they all release microplastics and nanoplastics every time they're opened and closed. So like a good rule of thumb, just switch to glass or metal. It's probably better in the long term.
Glass, but I will say this. Don't put metal in the microwave. I've done that before. That doesn't work either. Probably even more unhealthy than the Ziploc.
For sure. And just don't have a microwave. I very rarely use a microwave. I use
that,
which makes
I don't like microwaves either. I just got a new one, but I don't really like it.
I did. Yeah,
I've only used it once, and I look at it with disdain. But maybe one day I'll need some popcorn, and I think that's probably the best way to do popcorn. And that's the entire purpose of the microwave.
You don't even want to get me started on microwave popcorn, friend. Maybe I will do it
for another day.
Ruin your morning next Monday when we talk about microwave popcorn.
All right, something to look forward to. Yeah. I won't eat microwave popcorn this entire week now out of fear.
I just make it on the stove. I do like coconut oil or ghee. And then I just do the on my
That's
stove.
Respectable, but it takes a lot longer to do that. And
it does. I like it better.
I'm a convenience guy when it comes to my popcorn. And I don't eat popcorn that much, so it's not something that's plagued me my entire life or anything like that. Probably had 6 bags of popcorn in the last 20 years.
Oh, is that all?
They were all microwaved.
Well, that's probably okay then. 6
indeed.
It's probably a low enough number. If you had 6 today, I would maybe be concerned.
I would too.
Okay. So we're coming to the end here of our day. I always enjoy this time together, Chuck.
Indeed. We have a lot of fun.
We do have a lot of fun. But we are talking about sports analysts. Analysts? No, that's the word.
Analysts. Yes.
Analyses.
I was going to name a specific person, but I opted not to because I don't want to get the show in trouble. If it were on my own podcast, I'd call them out by name.
Fair. Okay. I love it.
So check this out.
Sharon,
the question is, how can I become a sportscaster? And the reason why I ask this is because I don't feel like there are any qualifications. And I understand that we do have an expert sports program on Rhode Island Broadcasting. This does not apply to that. This is the people that I see on the major platforms like ESPN, Fox, the guys who are making millions of dollars to come up with these brilliant takes on sports. And this came to mind as I was watching college football the other day.
Mm-hmm.
As you all are aware, I'm a pretty big Ohio State Buckeyes fan. Buckeyes actually defeated the University of Texas over the weekend. It was an amazing game, wonderful performance. But here's the kicker. All these experts before the show are like, Texas is going to win by like 30 points. Texas is better. Texas is good. Ohio State's not as good. They suck, blah, 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 blah. All these guys have these takes, right? And they're always wrong. And I asked myself, how do you get this job? I could literally go on there and I could root for my favorite team every week, knowing I have a 50-50 chance of being correct.
Fair.
You know, and over the course of a year, I'm probably going to be right more often than wrong, but there's a huge failure rate there. And nobody ever seems to get called out for this.
No, never.
And I see these guys on the radio, I hear them, I watch them on TV, and I just wonder, how in the world did this guy, because most of them are not very athletic looking.
No.
Most of them are, you know, older gentlemen in their, you know, 50s, 60s that are not going to get out on the field and play in these athletic competitions. And most of them look like they've never done anything athletic in their life. So how do we get a job where we can be completely unqualified in every possible way, other than just saying, I think Georgia's going to win this week, or I think the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl? How do we do this? And I also would like to ask at some point if I could be considered for a guest appearance on the sports aspect of Rhode Island Broadcasting, because these are legitimate experts who know what they're talking about. Ron, I believe, played in like 4 Super Bowls back in the day. Look it up. I think that this is legit, but I see these other guys and I just question it. And I ask, how can this happen? If you're watching our show today and you're a head person at ESPN or Fox Sports or something, please steer me in the right direction, because I think I'll bring a better energy. I think I'm funnier. I do think I'm better looking than some of them, and I think I'd be a valuable asset. And if these guys can do it, I think anybody can. So
I got to put this up behind me. So I'm in Edmonton. Hockey's huge. Edmonton Oilers.
Indeed.
We've got this one guy who my husband just loses his mind over, because he's like, this guy has never played hockey a day in his life, and he gets out of breath constantly.
Just by announcing. Yeah, look at him. This man is an elite level athlete, folks. I mean, his face looks like it's about to explode.
Yeah, he's out of breath for sure.
His hair's all messed up. He's sweating. Like, bro, come on.
Yep, totally. So that's what I was thinking of. Like, this guy talks about, like, when I was a kid in the, I don't know, AJHL, which is like an Alberta hockey league. It's like, how did you get this job? It's not like, because, they have a lot of former NHLers who are broadcasters, right?
They need to have an anchor with them because, again, not to categorize, but when you play sports for a living, you probably weren't like excelling in academics. Sorry.
This guy was never professional, though. This guy was a child playing, and somehow he's just been one of the Oilers representatives for decades. And like, he comes on and my husband gets so angry. Like, you don't know anything about hockey. Get out of here.
Right. And since we're talking about athletic history, I was an all-star at first base in the 7th grade in the Hilliard, Ohio Little League. So I think I could probably call Texas Rangers games or Houston Astros or anything. And I've had guys on my show who have been football announcers, and I certainly don't mean to disparage them, but don't believe any of those guys were playing football. So
totally.
Where can a guy like me get this job? I would totally do away with roofing forever if I could just be the voice of any team.
Now, I always wonder about women, for example. Yes, some women like sports and know sports, but anytime I see a woman announcing for any sport, really, like in Toronto, again, I'm Canadian, so I only know, but for the Blue Jays, Hazel May, she's like the correspondent. She's a woman. For hockey here, we've got a couple of different women, and it's like they're talking about it. They're like, okay, and this guy hit this slap shot into, and I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you're just reading off a teleprompter, but you're pretty, so you're here.
We did have a lady on ESPN just a couple days ago that got called out because a guy came on wearing a Barry Sanders Detroit Lions jersey. And she was like, well, it's very obvious that you want to talk about Shedeur Sanders. And it's like, oh, that's pretty brutal right there. Like, you really only have one job. And
it's the no sports.
It was quite awkward because she kind of exposed herself there to the world, and it was a big deal. And that was one of the things I was going to mention, but I did not want to pull out the women thing because I'm a dude, and it doesn't look good when a guy says that, and I don't respect or appreciate that. I think equality is a huge thing in the world, and if you know your stuff, that's one thing. But if you look at a Barry Sanders jersey and say, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, makes me question the credentials.
Yeah, I am not offended if you say women don't know sports. Like, majority of us don't, nor do we care. The odd ones do, but I really do think that some of these women who go to broadcasting school, they are very pretty, they're very thin, they're, nice to look at. They get put on a sports show where men are watching predominantly. And then they're sharing their take. Do they know anything? Yeah, maybe they'll learn. If they're good at their craft, they will learn. But I don't know. Every time I watch a girl, I'm like, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about.
In fairness, I'd say at least probably the majority of men also probably don't really care about sports either. It's, half of the world, I guess, does, and the other half is completely oblivious. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I was driving through here the other day during the Texas-Ohio State game. I had a roof going on, and I went to check on it, and it was like a ghost town, and I thought that was cool. And then I realized there were probably, a handful of people that were still out that could not have cared any less about this game. Right. And it really put it into perspective for me. And it made me feel good that I was actually out doing something to promote my business rather than sitting on the couch, which I did do later.
Sharon says, agreed. The female on the field sports interviewer yesterday in the Winnipeg versus Saskatchewan game was thin, blonde, and pretty. It wasn't a great interview. Exactly. She's there because she's hot. That's it. Ron says, I'm better qualified than more than half of SPN. Well, yeah.
I believe I am as well, Ron. I've been a fan my whole life. I can break it down with the best of them. I just need the opportunity, and that's why the title is, How Can I Become a Sportscaster?
Totally. Well, maybe if Ron needs a break, you could co-host on Sports Unfolded. It's actually a very good show. Again, I don't know anything about sports, nor do I care really about sports, minus bandwagon hockey playoffs. But I've listened to the show a few times. It's actually very good. Both of these two know exactly what they're talking about. Or like if you listen to Kenny and Ron talk, same thing. They know their stuff, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. We bring it all here at the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network, folks.
That's right.
Anything you could possibly want to learn, you could learn from us.
Exactly. Well, now there's a soccer show on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Sharon's show, Holy Shift Balls, is now on Rhode Island Broadcasting. My own show, Abounding and Alive, is on. Maybe you should put your show on as well.
I would be happy to put Keeping It Real on. I've done 240 consecutive weeks.
Good for you.
And I had an inspiring story this past week of a guy who caught a rare disease as a 9-year-old, basically was completely paralyzed except for his finger, had to learn how to completely relive and relearn everything, and is now a successful business consultant and stand-up comedian. So I feel like I could bring some stuff to the table.
Totally. Love it. Ron, bring all of our shows on.
There you go.
All right. Well, that is it for today's show. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Be back tomorrow when I don't even remember who's on tomorrow. Hold on. I got it written down here.
It's going to be an all-star cast of Kyle and Sharon.
Right. I forgot that's who it is. So be here tomorrow for Kyle and Sharon. And then on Wednesday, it's going to be Ron and Kenny with the addition of Luana, which is going to be interesting because Ron and Kenny talk sports. They talk movies. They talk like silly news usually, and Luana's very deep. So that's going to be a very interesting mix together. And then I'm back Thursday, I would imagine, with JJ. So make sure you check us out 8 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Central, and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check me out on my link tree at Abounding Health and over here at Chuck Allen 210 on YouTube.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you all later. Have a great day. Happy Labor Day.